stay a while and listen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AOP podcast, which, if you've listened the last few weeks, you might think it stands for Agony of Poultry. I am Ross. With me today.
I am Saul Dynamite.
Saul Dynamite?
Yeah.
Master of Turkey.
Master of Turkey, yes.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much we talked about turkey the last couple of weeks. Like, I knew we had. I was like putting up the show for last week, and I was like, we need to not talk about turkey this week very much.
Well, you know, it was Thanksgiving month, so why not?
It just kind of turned out that way. So this week, instead of turkey, we're going to talk about chicken. So, not actually. How's your week been?
Been pretty good. Can't complain, I guess. Just been working, coming home. And sleeping.
I've been right there with it. Was a little under weather earlier in the week. Nothing serious, I guess. Who knows? Ran a fever for the first time in a real long time that I'm aware of. I don't usually take my temperature, but I actually took it recently. Had to verify it with a Weber food thermometer. Because I didn't know if it, like how sometimes things can get unset, basically, and you got to recalibrate them in, like, the big thing of ice water or whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that needed done, so I'm sitting there, and then it's like, okay, so that's that. So then I'm, like, looking at we have, like, the digital Weber food thing where you can, like, spike it, like, 20 feet into a piece of meat if you need to. So I'm, like, holding that way out under my tongue trying to get a reading. But it verified it, so I was like, huh. And the sad thing is the Weber is quicker than the other. So for follow-ups, I was using the food thermometer and then, like, taking a wipe to it and stuff to sanitize it, but terrible.
Sure.
Like, each time I've used that to take my temperature, I'm like, I hope my wife doesn't walk in, because she's going to be like, what are you doing? Seeing if I'm done. According to this, I'm still medium rare. I need another 35 degrees. All right. Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, pretty much nothing has happened in the week that matters. You want to just get right into the show?
Yeah, let's get right into it.
All right. Before I fall asleep, my awake cycles have been awful lately. What would you like to start with? We have... we got Mandalorian. I haven't watched the other episodes, but I watched episode 6, The Tragedy, from the other day, which was, if you are on any kind of social media or in a grocery store, because people are just screaming about Boba Fett. Wherever you turn, like I was driving down the street and someone had a sign that said Boba Fett returns. I'm exaggerating, but it felt like there was no way to avoid a general sense of what was going on with this episode. So I was like, well, I'm just going to watch it out of order. Because it sounds like the part that I'm going to care about kind of is you can treat it as a standalone and it won't be the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
So we can start with that. We got
let's start with it.
All right. I am going to do... Here we go. Bumper time.
Something that could never, ever possibly destroy us. Mr. Stay Puft.
You chose poorly. You have chosen wisely.
All right. So it's pretty much, from what I can tell, again, like I haven't watched like 3 of the episodes for this, but like Boba Fett's been coming. And obviously spoilers if someone's listening to this. Like we're going to go over this episode and there'll probably be stuff that spoils like some of the older episodes maybe, but 100% this one's getting spoiled. So hold off if you're really wanting to be surprised by everything. Like, so I, not knowing what was going on previously, like it shows where he's going to take the child to the magic rock, basically like the seeing stone, I guess, or whatever they were calling it. And as soon as they get there, Boba Fett's ship, Slave One, shows up. Now, I don't know if they're calling it Slave One in this. Have they actually... yeah, it is Slave One. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, why would you change it?
I could see them having, issues calling it a slave, like with Disney. So...
Yes. Yeah.
But either way, so Slave One shows up, so I'm already like, oh man, like, so I don't know if Boba Fett has his armor at this point or not when I'm watching it.
Yeah.
So, but either way, it's like, well, that's definitely his ship. So, and then Mando's like, well, you sit here, and I'm going to go take care of this or whatever. And I was like, I don't think that's going to go how he plans.
Yeah.
Now, have they covered that, like, how much Boba Fett story have I missed before this episode?
I mean, so you've only missed 2 episodes. You haven't really missed anything.
Okay, so like the last big thing was the Marshal had Fett's armor, and then Mando got that from him after their arrangement. And then there's been a couple things where it was like, we think that person is Boba Fett. I think they flashed back previously to like the sharpshooter that someone walked up to her after she had been left for dead, kinda. But they did like the spur jingle, so it was like, we're gonna, like, they alluded that might be Boba Fett, but not really sure. So okay, so then I'm not really missing out on it. So we don't know how it's gonna go. Now, did you have a sense of excitement when you saw the Slave One show up?
I mean, I always liked Boba Fett, sure. But
right.
I never was like, oh my, yeah.
Well, did you ever read?
Like that.
Did you ever read like any of the books or the extended stuff that like actually gave him more story?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so if you only saw him in the movies, it was basically like, that's pretty cool armor, and then Boba Fett, where Sarlacc pit. Like, that's pretty much the summation of Boba Fett's movie journey. In the books, they like, he's basically like the John Wick of Star Wars. It kind of felt like, in a way, where he's just like super calculated, total badass, able to just like take care of pretty much any situation. Like, that's what the books portrayed. So it's nice in this, like, once it gets to fighting, like, he's clearly a badass.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he basically is just trying to talk with Mando to get his armor back, which I wasn't sure, because like in the movies he was technically a bad guy, but I mean, he's a bounty hunter and he was employed by the bad guys, depending on your viewpoint. I mean, there are those the Empire did nothing wrong people, so like,
he's trying to live their lives.
Yeah, so like, he's not like technically a horrible person, he's just a bounty hunter, and sometimes you're not on the nicest side, I guess.
Well, usually if you go up against not Han Solo, what's his name? Harrison Ford, you're typically a bad guy, so I mean...
Just like the Iron Sheik. I thought for the longest time in Raiders of the Lost Ark, when he fights the guy by the airplane, I thought that was the Iron Sheik for some reason. From
I can see that.
I assume it was the mustache. And,
yeah,
having not seen a ton of the Iron Sheik other than the action figure, like the old LJN. But, yeah, so he tries to, like, kind of bargain with him to be like, hey, I want my armor back. I actually have a legitimate claim to it. Mando's on his, your blah belongs to the Mandalorians and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But they get interrupted. So, the child, he's in his force bubble doing whatever. I appreciate that Mando tries like 5 times, it felt like, to break it and grab a hold of him.
Yes.
And wasn't just like, he's going to be pretty safe if we take care of this before he has to go and take a nap. That he just kept throwing himself into that. Like, seemed, I don't know, like maybe he was panicked now that he knows, like, the child has a name. He's become attached or something, so he's having irrational thinking or something.
I did see something on one of the threads, and they were talking about Boba Fett's armor. They're like, it's all beat up and it's like all like mangled and everything. It's like,
well, yeah,
it's old.
I mean, it wasn't in the best shape to begin with, and then being in the Sarlacc pit didn't help it.
It just cracks me up, people. I'm like, are you even watching the series? Do you know what's going on?
But like, honestly, probably what's hurt it the worst is Mando's had it for like 5 episodes. Have you seen how he takes care of stuff?
Yes.
Like, seriously?
Yes.
It's amazing that Child's not missing an ear at this point.
Yes.
But so Empire shows up.
Yep. Boss Gideon.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to get something pretty cool by the end of the season, I would assume.
Well, Mando's elite fighting force is pretty good. I gotta say.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the last episode, because I'm assuming he's gonna get the marshal. He'll probably get the I forget her name, the rebel.
Yeah, the lady who actually joined up with the Republic officially.
Yeah. So, and then he's gonna go back and get those mercenaries or whatever they were from season 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
like he's gonna bust the one guy out of prison. I can't remember that guy's name at all.
Yeah.
Finnick.
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay, I'm reading on I'm on vulture.com. But yeah. So the fighting. Oh, go ahead.
Then if you get Ahsoka in there, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so I saw some of the clips from that. So I guess they gave the Beskar armor. In some of the books, there was like certain material that like lightsabers didn't have the same effect on. Mm-hmm. So I guess they were just like, we're going to give Beskar that treatment. I don't know if Beskar has always been, because he was like blocking the lightsabers with like the Beskar armor when they were
that's how it was. Star Wars, Rebels, and Clone Wars, I guess.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense if you want the Mandalorians to be legitimate, they need to be able to withstand something like that. So I didn't know if that was always the way it was or if that's something they just kind of adapted on the fly.
Well, I could be wrong, but I thought in the Clone Wars TV animated series, they explained when the Mandalorians fought the Jedis, that's why they have that armor, because they could deflect lightsabers and stuff.
Let's see. I'm looking. There is, because there was a Splinter of the Mind's Eye, a book where there was a material that created like a I don't know what you would call it, like a bubble around somebody where like the Force couldn't mess with them.
Okay.
And then there was some other metal, but I can't remember what it was called. I was trying to look it up, but it's real specific to find, and it's not giving me the immediate answer. So either way, but well, yeah, it works real good for this. But so Boba Fett without his armor is a super badass.
Yes.
And like seriously, is Stormtrooper armor just the worst in the world?
Well, my wife I was watching last night with my wife, and she's like, "Man, he's just destroying that plastic." I was like, "Well, it's not supposed to be plastic. It's supposed to be like some kind of high penetration armor that they're wearing." But yeah,
except any laser, apparently a stick with a nail in it.
Yes.
Because like,
yeah.
Okay, that is a Tusken Raider weapon.
Yes.
In all accounts, the Tusken Raiders are savages.
Yes.
So savages have figured out a way to make a stick that will obliterate your super armor.
Yes.
I've never seen a laser bounce off a stormtrooper at all. Like Mando's armor, he literally uses it as a shield constantly.
Yeah. Yes.
What is going on with the storm?
Well,
I'm sure there's like canon explanations, but it's garbage.
Wait, yeah, it's like is like everyone using weapons to kill stormtroopers? You know, it's like you said, it's like there's like no one that uses like lesser weapons that just bounces off the stormtroopers.
Right. Well, it'd be one thing. So, I think it was Marvel. I'm going to assume this was a Punisher kind of thing. It might have been like Punisher 2099 when they were doing that whole deal. There was a guy that had like this armor that anything that was moving like quickly, so like a bullet or anything like that, it was basically completely impenetrable by something like that.
Yeah.
The way I might be wrong on this, but the idea will come across. The way the Punisher killed this guy is he just took a knife and slowly stabbed him. Like, that was the workaround of the armor. So I could see if the Stormtrooper's armor was awesome against, like, laser blasts, but, like, a blunt object or, like, what Fett had with the spike on it, like, it just didn't work on that. Like, there was a trade-off there. But as it is, laser, you're done. Stick, you're done. Punched in the face, you're done. Like
now, Mando's spear. Now you didn't, because you didn't see this episode. His spear is made out of the armor material. Yeah, so I would understand his spear.
Oh yeah, because I saw him pick that up at the end. Yeah, where did he pick that up from, or has he always had that?
No, it was in the Ahsoka episode.
Okay, but that's pretty sweet. That because I saw he was looking for that and the ball that Grogu plays with.
Yeah.
Now, did you have a problem? So you sent me like a link and it's got like the big picture or whatever. But with Fett having his normal clothes on and not like the jumpsuit that he had?
No, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Why would he? he literally just put it on because they were fighting, you know. So why would he have the jumpsuit, you know?
I'm assuming there are people who have already complained about that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Now, if there's someone who's a fan of Boba Fett, and they are complaining about him not having like the jumpsuit on underneath the armor, after what they have just done for Boba Fett with this episode, you're never going to be happy, because this is what I think anyone who's a Boba Fett fan has always wanted, is him at least portrayed competent.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If they're complaining about that, I mean, it's practical. Where's my jumpsuit at? I'm not wearing this without my jumpsuit. I mean, come on.
He comes over like Mando's headset, and he's like, hey, I had a jumpsuit that went with this. If you want some help, where is it?
Yeah. I think
so. But yeah, so they basically fight off like the Empire. Unfortunately, weird Death Trooper robots steal the child.
Yeah.
They're unable to get there in time.
I'm only aware of these guys is because I played the that Star Wars game that everyone hated. And they were in that game, so that's the only reason I know who these guys are.
Right. I've heard them mentioned, but that was about the end of it. I'm trying to think. So yeah, I thought that Fett was going to be able to like make the save on it, but I can't say that I'm unhappy with the ending to this, because we're actually going to get more Boba Fett.
Yep.
So it seems like they were like, you know what people are really going to want out of this show is they're going to want Boba Fett at some point, and he's going to become like an actual character.
And I thought I read somewhere where they're going to make a spin-off thing for him.
They absolutely should.
I don't know. That might be too much Mandalorian.
I mean, he technically... I did like that. I don't know if they've ever addressed this in the books. So basically, he shows... There's something within the armor that shows, like, the lineage of the armor, I guess. So he's able to show Mando that his father legitimately acquired it, and that it truly does belong to him, so that there's no weirdo Mando being like, this technically isn't your armor, I need to take it back at some point. They just they wiped out all the he shouldn't have the armor kind of stuff. It's all gone. So I was pleased with that. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, basically they're going to be, the three of them are going to be cruising around trying to get the child back. Someone's getting the dark saber by the end of this, right? Like someone's going to get a hold of that thing that's a Mandalorian.
There should be that one female Mandalorian that they ran across. She's the leader of the Mandalorians.
Yeah, it turns out that she is a good guy, or closer to good.
Star Wars Rebels, she was. So.
Okay, she's just a little overzealous in her methods. That was the vibe I got. Is she's a little intense. But I mean, so is Mando in the beginning. So
yes.
But yeah, so this was, I mean, I don't think my brother has Disney Plus, but he's always liked Boba Fett just based on the look of it, and he read the books as well. So he'll eventually get to see this episode, and this is probably going to be everything that he ever hoped for as well. I just can't imagine not being happy with this episode if you're a fan of Boba Fett.
Sure, it was good.
And once he gets the armor, he's super awesome.
They gave him a code. He's kind of honorable, I guess. So
yeah. Well, I mean, they can do. I'm sure there's a lot of backstory that they can do to explain that he was basically just going for the bounties. And then you do what you got to do, highest bidder kind of stuff. So.
You wouldn't be able to do it because Harrison Ford's a jerk when it comes to Star Wars, but you could actually have him where he's obsessed with trying to kill Han Solo.
He was actually in the book. Well, I don't know if obsessed was right, but he definitely they had multiple encounters through comics and books and stuff.
Yeah.
They crossed paths quite a few times.
Harrison Ford has a huge vendetta against Star Wars. It seems like every time he talks about it, just man.
It's because he wanted to be Indiana Jones all the time, but all the super nerds wanted him to be Han Solo. It's this hat is so much cooler than this vest.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. So, do we know how many more episodes we have this season?
IMDb says 2 more.
Okay. So yeah, they're lining it up. It's been, I mean, I haven't seen every single episode, but it's been really good.
I was a little mad that because I saw it, I was like, oh, this episode's only 35 minutes long. What's up with that?
Yeah, but I feel like they got a lot out of that 35 minutes.
Agreed.
Oh, I forget. At the end, where so they have the child on the ship, and they walk into the room, and he's just got 2 stormtroopers, and he's just basically bashing them against each other using the Force.
Well, and Moff Gideon, he's just sitting there, he's amused by it. And I'm thinking, if I'm the stormtroopers next to him, I'll be like, well, this guy's a nut. Why am I working for this guy?
For the same reason that people stood around Darth Vader. They didn't want him to kill them.
I would slowly just weed myself out of that organization to where you couldn't even find me anymore. And that's just me. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but I think it's after everything that happened, if you're still with the Empire, I believe the term is ride or die at that point.
So you're saying at that point you're kind of just sold out to them, right?
Yeah, I mean, people don't really like stormtroopers anywhere. So, and apparently if you're a stormtrooper, you have to wear the armor. You don't have to wear the helmet, but you can't go anywhere without the rest of the armor. I don't know if it's attached to them or what it is.
Sure.
Unless you're Finn. Apparently you can steal somebody else's clothes or something. I don't understand.
He's the worst written character ever. His character could have been so much cooler, and they just totally dropped the ball with that character. So I don't know what was going on.
Did they start out with? I mean, this is speculation. I haven't read anything about it. It seemed like they started out, they were going to go one direction, and then like many things from, they did Force Awakens.
Yes.
Many things they set in motion where it's like, oh, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. Hey, let's not do any of that. Like, he feels like another victim of that, where he was set up to be awesome. And for some reason, they're like, you know what would be better? Nothing. We just won't really do...
This crappy storyline. We'll put you in this.
Yeah, like everybody, it just feels like everything could have been better.
Yep.
Like,
it just seemed like it was rushed and didn't know what they were doing. And,
I was like, Force Awakens made me super happy because I was like, I can actually like Star Wars again, because like the prequels kind of killed it for me. Now maybe had I watched like Rebels and Clone Wars, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it because I was so let down. And I saw that, and then I started hearing like some of the complaints, and I was like, well, some of those complaints about the next two movies were silly, but some of them sounded legitimate. I was like, I'll just give it some time. And then I watched them, and I was like, it's not as bad as people made out, but it wasn't good.
Well, when you make Rey out to be like Goku right off the bat, I mean, she's just a boring character. There was like no development, no like hardship. Like, oh, okay, she finally made. She's a true Jedi Knight. No.
Right. Well, it's the adversity to like watch her overcome it. Even if they like some montages work.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
She wasn't as cool as Luke, where his stupid questions to Yoda over and over made Yoda just decide to die. So.
Sure.
I saw someone put that for Yoda. It was like, if you look at the way Yoda is looking at Luke, you can tell that he was just so tired of his questions that he was like, I'd rather die, and just turned into a Force ghost.
It would be like when Vegeta first lands on Earth and he meets Goku. Goku just becomes Super Saiyan 4 right off the bat and just like smokes him. I mean, it was pretty much like that.
Yeah, it was like that's how it kind of felt.
Yeah.
Well, did you ever see someone wrote a story that was like what would happen if Vegeta was sent to Earth?
Yeah.
Instead of Goku, and it was basically like every time people showed up, he obliterated them. Like it was never a problem until someone strong. Like he never had the adversity that Goku had.
Yeah.
So he failed ultimately, I think, is what the outcome was.
Well, man, we're kind of getting off track here, but I like the Vegeta storyline because it showed like pretty much he got more powerful because of Goku. Goku's the reason why he was getting more powerful. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, Vegeta is one day he will get his crowning moment, but for now, we just keep waiting. Do you want to move on to? Because I mean, that's pretty much wraps up Mandalorian, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah, the Darksaber. I am curious what else they're going to do with that, since I haven't seen any of the Clone Wars or Rebel stuff. Like, am I in for a treat with that, or are you afraid to be optimistic?
I mean, it's just a lightsaber. I mean, and Moff Gideon's not a Force user, so I don't know.
He's not. Like, if he comes up against her, like, it probably isn't going to be much of a fight.
It better not be, since she went toe to toe with Darth Vader. So I mean,
right? Yeah, like this dude should be nowhere close to that.
Yeah. So.
All right. Let's move on to Blizzard stuff for a minute. And technically
the complaints of their
well, just a discussion. Like, it is a complaint, but it's not as complainy as we have been, I don't think. Let's go.
Well, hit that bump.
Get over here! Time's up. Let's do this.
All right. So the thing that I found out about today, and I knew about it, so this is Hearthstone related. I knew about this initially, and I kind of forgot. They are doing, so they did the expansion. There's the world's on fire over like the battle pass or the tavern pass, whatever you want to call it. Which the issues there is just like, it just doesn't feel good, I think, for everybody. Some people have done the math, and mathematically, it is possible that the reward path is better for you, but it is also possible that it is really, really bad for you. Also, some of the issues are it's encouraging bad behavior. Like myself, I will queue up a Battlegrounds and just go do something else and just AFK it because I get experience for that. There's people playing Odd Warrior and Wild with a bot that all it does is hit the hero power and then rope over and over, apparently. So it's definitely encouraging bad behavior to try to beat the system a little bit and get a little bit more out of it. And like I said, like I've played more Hearthstone, even though I'm not necessarily happy with it. I've actually played more just trying to see what I think of it. Because I have no problem totally panning it, but as it is right now, I've gotten some packs, like it's hard to say what I would have gotten normally. It definitely does not feel good. I will say that. But they are doing a mini expansion at some point during this set. So they already have 135 different cards. They are midway through this expansion, going to release 35 more cards. The thing is, in the past, they've done like an adventure set or, something like that, where you basically just buy those 35 cards. And it's added to your collection, and that's the end of it. This time, they're going to insert them into the current Dark Moon packs, so you're just going to have to buy more of the current expansion or acquire more of the current expansion packs to get these new cards. That seems terrible.
Greedy?
I've been trying to find information, because like since the whole rewards thing, there's not been a lot of communication from Blizzard, so I don't know if they're hoping that it'll blow over, which I mean it will die down some, but you're still gonna have like, they have like the true numbers. They don't have like the people who are vocal on Twitter or Reddit or any of that stuff, so they have like true numbers to know what people are doing with it. But they haven't said anything. I'm curious if that's going to be part of what they talk about at some point. Because as it is right now, if they're like, hey, December 1st, if you want to buy more packs, even though you just bought them, we're going to put different cards in, there's going to be an even bigger meltdown if they do it that way. So, I don't know. What do you... Because when I first thought about it, I'm used to, like, physical card games where it's like a special addition to an expansion where you just buy those particular cards. With adventures and some of the ways they've done stuff before, that's kind of how I expected it to be on this as well, or separate packs. Now I know they kind of came out with that information a while back, but I either forgot about it or didn't hear. I don't know which. But I mean, it sounds terrible. Would you agree?
I just think it's a bad way of doing your game.
Right. Well, because everything I've found looking for it, people are discussing, like, do I not open some of the packs? Or do I try to save up all my gold so I can buy packs when they do this? Well, for me, like, I bought the big $80 pack or whatever it was. And I opened I still don't have all the cards I want. And from the last expansion, I exhausted my gold and dust to get the cards I wanted. I was like, well, I'll just buy some cards of this set. And, like, by the end of it, I can make things work to play the decks that I want to. Which, again, like, I like to play a variety of decks. If I only played, like, say, Hunter and Paladin, it'd be a lot easier to have all the cards that I want. But I kind of like the option to play, like, oh, hey, look at this crazy deck that somebody came up with. It'll probably never win, but it's going to be really sweet when I pull this combo off. So I enjoy that from time to time. But I saw one of the websites, they were saying, assuming there's 4 to 5 legendaries out of those 35 cards, if you're relying on opening packs, you're going to need like 80 packs to get those legendaries. The epics, I think, was somewhere in like the 40 to 50 range. And then like the rares and commons, like the way they have like duplicate protection and stuff like that now, you'll get those pretty easily. Like those aren't a big deal. But the thing is, like, used to be epic cards were fun cards. They didn't really have like a few of them had like a big impact, but most of the time it was like do something crazy that you're never going to win with, but it's going to be awesome when you pull it off 20 times. But now you got like the evil clown epic where that's a really strong card that kind of change, like you have to have that card almost for certain decks. I don't know. So hopefully they'll make some kind of change to it, I guess. Because that could actually make me just be like, you know what, I'm done. Because that means they're going to be doing, like, if that's successful, they're going to do it again. And it's like, do I really want to buy a bundle, not get everything I want, and then have to figure out, do I need to hold on to some of these so that I can get the mini expansion when they do this again and spend even more money? Because I've had no problem spending, like, having played, like, physical card games. Like, I see a lot of people complain about how expensive Hearthstone is. And it is expensive if you're trying to stay caught up. But the fact that I can play a game pretty much any time of day or night and get a match almost instantly is fantastic, since I really like card games. So I'm willing to pay that because I treat it like
you like card games.
Yeah, and and because I've played like the physical card games, like the price isn't nearly as shocking to me. Like I just accept it. However, when it starts to feel like, now I feel like I'm being wrung out almost. It makes me question it. Now, all the Hearthstone forums, they talk about like Legends of Runeterra, like from Riot Games, and some of the other card games. Have you ever tried any of those?
No.
Okay. I tried, the biggest one that I've seen pushed by people is the Legends of Runeterra. So I downloaded it on my phone and was playing through it. It's similar to Hearthstone, but not really the same. But it's a lot more like free player friendly as it is right now. I mean, obviously over the years that could change, but it doesn't like. I really like the way Hearthstone plays, so I don't think I'm just gonna like find a new card game to replace Hearthstone if I were to quit. And hopefully they kind of. I mean, it seems like they've set the path in motion, like where they're going to be trying to monetize more and more here and there to push you to it. Because, I mean, they even have quests currently where it's based on your collection. Like, there's things you can't do unless you have certain card combinations. And it just seems like that's the way it's going to go. So, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, as of right now, I don't think the future does not look bright for Hearthstone.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, there's going to be people who have no issues with it, and that's great. But myself, like, I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, they could change this reward pass a little bit, and it'll be awesome.
Sure.
And then it's like, you know what? I don't feel so bad. Or I'll be able to get enough gold that it won't matter. But right now it's like, geez, oh, Pete, this is rough. All right, so from that, you were telling me a little bit. So neither one of us have hit level cap in Shadowlands.
No.
But you were playing with somebody the other day, so like basically like it's pretty alt friendly.
From what he said, yeah, he's like, because I was like, man, I do not want to do this storyline over and over again. I'm like, I'll just wait until the catch-up mechanic comes up and then do it like that. He's like, oh no, he's like, once you get to level 60, he's like, they give you an option. He's like, you still got to do the mall, but they give you an option to opt out of the main storyline quest, and you just do dailies and own events and everything.
Yeah, it's basically just kind of run around and do whatever you want, like try to find some quests and. Yeah, which if anyone's like a hardcore WoW player, they probably already know that. Like, we're definitely behind. But if someone's like listening to us and they're like, you know, I used to play WoW and I was thinking about it. I always like to have some alts. that's something to just be aware of if you're not following the news closely, is that get through it with one character, and then you don't have to be like, great, this story for the third time. Because in BFA, oh boy, I leveled more characters than I would care, and it was brutal.
BFA, Legion, it's like once you do the storyline first,
it's over.
I'm done. I don't want to do it again.
Legion, I could handle the Legion story the second time.
Yeah.
It was the times after that where I just was like, I don't care about Stormheim. I don't care about Ysera. I'm glad that she dies.
Sure.
Like, it turned me on many of the characters. Be like, why do I keep seeing this Sylvanas and Greymane cinematic and then nothing follows up with it?
Yes.
Yeah. One other thing, since we were talking about the Mandalorian, apparently this season in Fortnite, now I'm not a huge Fortnite fan by any stretch. I have played it some. If you get their battle pass, you do get a Mandalorian armor set. So
that's pretty cool.
Now it starts out as like how the show started, where he had like the helmet was good, but everything else was basically the trash tier armor. Like it wasn't the full Beskar. That's what you get like without doing anything. Like you just buy the battle pass and you get that. Then you have questing. Now I haven't played it. I just downloaded it and got that. I conveniently. So years and years ago, I played Fortnite for a while with some people that I was working with. And then I just stopped playing because I was like, I really don't like building. Somewhere along the way, my account got hacked by a Russian guy. Because all of a sudden I saw like a charge from Epic Games, and I was like, crap, I didn't take my my payment method off. Well, apparently that guy was nice enough to unlock a few things for me from that battle pass before I caught it, and purchased enough V-Bucks that I could buy the next one more battle pass. So I was technically I bought it years ago. And then the V-Bucks just sat there. But so
Did you get your money back?
I tried to, but the stuff they needed, because it was like $10 is what I thought, or I'm sorry, it was $15 total charge, and like I had done like 7 emails back and forth with support, and they needed something that I was like, I would rather just eat the $15 at this point.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which turns out I only ate $5 because I used that $10 for the battle pass to get the Mandalorian armor. But yeah, it was like a super hassle, like for the amount of money it was. Since like I caught it quickly, but not like before more damage was done. Now my question is why this guy didn't just like make a new account, because it's not I don't know what you're gonna rack up in Fortnite. Like as far as like transactions go for an account, but I'm sure there's a scam somewhere there. But yeah, so you can like do all these different quests that I have no idea what they are to get like the full Beskar armor. So, but yeah, because they had just done a event where you fought Galactus.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw people fight Galactus.
I didn't know when that was, and then like not feeling well, I probably would have slept through it anyway. Like, I actually kind of wanted to do that, but someone was telling me, like, oh, yeah, you can get, like, the Mandalorian armor. And I was like, I still don't have any desire for building in Fortnite. But I'm going to check this out, because if I ever do want to play Fortnite, I'm going to want to be able to be a Mandalorian. So, and the fact that I had conveniently, years ago, allowed myself to purchase V-Bucks, apparently, well, there we go. Or they might have gave it to me when I had the issue, and because I just stopped communicating. They're like, yeah, we'll just give him his money back in V-Bucks. And then I had no idea. So it's like a 30 gig game. But yeah, so if you have any desire to spend $10 on Fortnite to be a Mandalorian, in case you ever want to play that game, because my thought is one day they're going to be like, hey, there's a version that doesn't have any building. I'll be like, well, this is a really good battle royale. Like, I enjoy the way the game runs and looks. I just don't like the building. So,
well,
future proofing
sounds cool. I'm not gonna do
that. So that's all I got for. Like, have you played anything outside of the normal stuff?
No.
No phone games.
casino slot machines or whatever the thing's called. Yeah, I've done that.
Does it have Johnny Cage's Ring of Fire?
Yes, it does actually. Yeah.
Do you understand the rules to that? Because me and my wife played that at the actual casino, and we put money in, and then all of a sudden he started singing, and then we won like $500. And we don't know what happened.
You probably got a random bonus that pops up every now and then.
I guess so. Like, that's the one thing I hate about slot machines is some of them.
There's no rule book.
Well, some of them it's like, okay, you got to match this thing and you can play like a super amount of lines. So it's like, you'll like the line, like you can kind of figure out the lines after a while. But some of them are so like advanced.
All slot machines have, at least the newer slot machines have a button that says rules, and you can read through the rules and everything.
Well, right, but
I don't.
Some of them have so much stuff going on that I just can't comprehend it. Because it's like, well, if you do this, you get this bonus device. This will give you this bonus. Sometimes you just randomly get a bonus for no reason without the wheels even spinning, which is what happened on the Johnny Cash one. Because like no wheels spin, and then all of a sudden it's just like, here, have this thing. If you get like 5 hunka burning rings of fire, I'm combining Elvis there, but
wow, yeah, you about to say you mixed Elvis and Johnny Cash. That's
they had like similar.
I'm sure somebody out there is like, what in the world? Why did you just do that?
Yeah, similar hair.
Yeah, sure.
All right, you want to go to wrestling real quick?
That's the only thing left, so I guess we got to.
We're gonna do.
I'm in control here, and you're gonna give me what I want. Give me what I want. You know what I want. I've been asking for it, and you're gonna give me what I want.
I used Batista this time, just because I haven't pushed that in a long time.
What I want.
Yes.
Give me what I want.
I need to remix that though and add Excalibur, saying you got to give them what they want. Again, it drives me insane that didn't occur to me when I made that bumper.
Do that.
Yeah,
that's the new bumper. Have Batista do it, then you have Excalibur do it, and just have it go back and forth. So.
All right. So we had for Dynamite, there was the Winter is Coming, which is they pretty much made like a pay-per-view and crammed it into 2 hours. So I watched some of the show live, but falling asleep randomly. I had to go back and watch some of it a little bit later. But I caught the big stuff live, so I was pleased with that. Now, did you just catch like some of the highlight stuff or the whole show?
I watched the Battle Royal. Joe Janela still is not my favorite wrestler. Sean Spears is a waste. They don't use him right.
So the things that stuck out to me, now some of this is not my opinion, but they were pointing out almost every elimination in this tied into a story beat for somebody, one way or the other, except for Luther, is what they were saying.
Sure.
I think it was the Wrestling Observer or something. I saw something and they were like, oh, the storyline with the Battle Royal was really good, so I listened to it. And I didn't pick up on it too much at the time, but it makes sense. But like Hangman gets saved by the Dark Order, but then basically Matt Hardy just eliminated all the fan favorites to make people hate him.
Because I'm like, wow, the Dark Order is getting over big time during this match.
Yes. Like everyone that like basically it was like, you're gonna hate Matt Hardy one way or the other, and we know how to do it. So I think that they succeeded with that. But it was interesting. The commentary didn't say anything about it, but when Hangman was about to, like, he got eliminated after Dark Order saved him, but he was headed back to the tunnel, and he actually stayed up there and was looking the direction the Dark Order went for a while before he went through the tunnel. Like, he was almost going to go and catch up to them, and for some reason the camera didn't hang on it very long because something else was going on. But it seemed like that was supposed to be a story beat that got missed. Now that might show up on Being the Elite since it was missed. And they'll further that. But it looked like he was like, so we're getting more with that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So end result is we're gonna get Orange Cassidy and MJF.
Yeah.
I'm curious how that'll go. I would assume MJF wins again.
I would let him win it again, just so this goes along with the character, make him more douchey.
Yeah, I mean, I would be interested to see what Orange Cassidy would do with a ring like that, but I think MJF is obviously the better fit.
Yeah, don't give it to Orange Cassidy.
All right, so this match got weird. The Jericho and Frankie Kazarian match.
Yeah.
It seemed like the whole point of this match was just to have Jericho do the ultimatum about like splitting up the inner circle or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much like MJF has been like the wrench in the wheel that's going to destroy everything, I would say.
I mean, I hate to say it. I've lost interest in the inner circle. I don't know.
Well, like they went from a serious group to a little more comical.
Whatever they are now.
Yeah.
Whatever they are now. I don't know what they are now. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they might be blowing it up. And because, like, Sammy's clearly a good guy. Just waiting.
Sure.
Because Matt Hardy, little did we know, Matt Hardy basically turned heel when he tried to murder him and then drop him off in the woods inside a trash can.
Yes.
Let's see here. We got some Britt Baker action with Layla Hirsch.
Sure. Yeah.
Thunder Rosa. It was an okay match. Like, I rewatched this one. It might have been better, like, live. But it seemed like there were a few moments where it's like Layla didn't really know what to do. If that makes any sense. Like, there's just like that pause where you're like, someone's not sure if they should be like, someone doesn't know what to do. Oh, quick, grab a hold kind of thing is what it felt like. But yeah, so whatever. Like, I still think like she looks better than she did. I think.
Who?
Britt, like in the ring.
In the ring, sure. Yeah, she looks better. Her promos, man. I don't know.
She's had a few that were really good, and then she's had some where you're just like, I don't know if maybe she's forcing something. Like something's just like, off.
Okay. So it's like when we used to watch wrestling when we was kids, okay? And this, I don't know, the Big Boss Man, you'll use him.
Yeah.
I believed the Big Boss Man was a, whatever, just a cop wanting to just beat people up.
Yeah.
I believed that because he believed that. It almost seemed like, I mean, as ridiculous as that is, yet you have to make me believe that you're
a terrible person.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you think
she doesn't have it.
Britt Baker is trying to be a bad person, but she's really not, so it's just not coming through right?
Maybe. I don't know. This is something it doesn't seem right.
Because when she was doing those promos before she got hurt that were good, it wasn't that she was like a bad person or running things. It was more about like people should like her because she's worked really hard and stuff like that. And it came off pretty good. Cause, I mean, that's technically not untrue. So
sure.
You might be onto something. She's not a mean person, so it's harder to get that across right. She doesn't have the right mindset for it.
DX Sean, I believed that he was a jerk, and you know what? It turns out he really was a jerk.
Right.
So I mean,
I mean, I hadn't thought about it that way, but I think you might be right.
Yeah.
So we'll see what goes on. Yeah, because like Thunder Rosa, I believe, like what she says when I've seen her promos, like I believe it.
Yep.
So
that's
we
what
got.
I'm saying. You got to make me believe it.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah, and she doesn't have the conviction, kind of like early on, like her moveset, like what Sonny Cuts does as well, where you can see there's that hesitation for the like really laying it in sometimes, and it just pulls you out of it. Same thing with the promo. I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't really thought of it that way. All right, so we got one of the craziest things ever. Not the match, but So Darby and Cody against Ricky and Hobbs. So match itself was good. Like I'm still baffled by watching a tag team match and not just waiting for somebody to turn on the other in the middle of the match. Like, I don't think it's ever going to go away. So there's like this big mess of everybody getting beat up. It looks like they're going to take out Arn at some point. Good. Somehow, even though Brian Cage is the FTW champion, the FTW belt is Will Hobbs' preferred foreign object.
Yes.
I know it's very strange, but whatever. All of a sudden, the lights go out, which basically means someone's coming out, and it goes to this like snowy mountains and fields with some music. You see there's snow falling.
Now stop right there.
Yes.
I liked your idea because I think it would have bombed incredibly bad if the person you thought was coming out.
Yeah, so I'm watching this like again, was in and out of sleep, saw this match, and I was like, oh, I want to see this match. So a little bit groggy, but pretty coherent for the whole thing. And I was like, is this going to be Glacier?
Yes.
Because Glacier's been mentioned. He's QT Marshall's business partner. Like, that was actually on a podcast, so that put that thought in my mind. I was like, this is like the Glacier stuff. Like, is it going to say blood runs cold? And then all of a sudden, there's like
Saturday. So it's Saturday, and we're talking about the big thing that happened. Glacier showed up.
Man.
You think it would have got the same amount of...
Yes. It would get... if they re-debuted Old Man Glacier in that spot, treated that way...
Yes.
The overall amount it's being talked about would probably be higher, but not for the right reasons. So then there's like a crow that you see.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And it was like I recognized it. Like, it was clearly something you were supposed to kind of pick up on, but not really, but it goes a little bit longer. I'm just like seriously, Glacier is the only person that's in my mind. And then like the letters come up and it's Sting. And I was like, well, I did not, because there's been rumblings about that. Like that's been mentioned a few times. And was like, I wasn't expecting it, especially for this. So Sting comes out. Tony Schiavone loses his mind, which made it better. Jim Ross does a pretty good job on the commentary as well. He comes out, pulls out the bat. Bad guys leave the ring, and then he stares everybody down. Now, the other thing that I think would have been fantastic is if he would have came back as Surfer Sting.
No
one. For my personal taste, I would have been much more entertained by that. And then, but yeah, so we got Sting in AEW. Now, I have heard that he is technically cleared to wrestle.
Yeah.
But didn't want to for WWE or something like that. You were telling me from one, was it the Taker interview?
It was from BattleNet, not BattleNet. Bleacher Report. That's what it was.
Yeah, like they actually spoke to Taker about it, or Sting, or.
It was from what's his face, the dirt sheet guy,
Meltzer.
So who knows if it's true or not? But yeah, apparently, I guess he heard from either Taker or Sting or somebody that Sting and Undertaker, I guess, came up with an idea of doing a cinematic match. And Vince didn't like the idea.
I would have been okay with that because Taker does supernatural stuff. Sting does a little bit of disappearing act from time to time.
Yes.
With the whole crow thing. So I would see no reason. Like, it's something that everybody wanted. In a cinematic environment, you can make it a lot safer. And yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. Obviously, Sting Taker instead of Sting against Triple H, and then just bury everything remaining of WCW one last time. Probably would have been a better way to go.
Yeah.
You still and Vince still gets to make Sting lose to a WWE guy. Because I don't think anyone would be like, I can't believe they jobbed Sting out to the Undertaker. Like, it's okay to lose to the Undertaker. Like, a lot of people have. But yeah, so also the Sting t-shirt apparently is the highest selling 24-hour shirt of all time now on Pro Wrestling Tees. Which it actually looks like a pretty cool shirt.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows? I guess we're going to hear from Sting this week, so it'll be interesting to see what goes on there. So this follows up with the championship match.
Yep.
We get Don Callis on commentary. What do you think of this?
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, they beat the ever-loving crap out of each other at a few occasions. For some reason,
I thought how this was going to end up was a New Japan wrestler was going to run in. And, that was going to be a tie-in for Moxley going to New Japan. But
right.
Didn't go that way.
Yeah, there was like a press conference kind of deal that Tony Khan did where he basically said Moxley isn't going to be doing Wrestle Kingdom this year.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's true or not, who knows? Because the end result of this thing. So basically, they create a situation where Kenny and Don Callis basically pull a fast one.
Yep.
Because they have like the gentleman's agreement that they're going to keep it a wrestling match. So even when Moxley brings the chairs into the ring, he doesn't actually use them as a weapon. So that was something I didn't really pick up on that at the time. Even though I think they even mentioned it on commentary, but listening to stuff like they kind of I saw where that was mentioned. I was like, oh yeah, that is a nice little touch. And then Omega uses the microphone, bust Moxley open. I think something that is overlooked in this whole thing is because like when he got hit with the microphone, it had like that loud pop sound to it.
Yeah.
All the issues that AEW has had over the last year or so with audio.
Yeah.
They nailed the microphone working to get the sound.
Sure. Yes.
Because that would have been really anticlimactic if you wouldn't have had that extra kick from the microphone. So good job, audio guys. I haven't seen anyone else give them credit for the one time you really need to sound good. It worked out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so, but the big thing is like, Don and Kenny just run after the match is over. Commentary's putting it over that they just basically pulled a fast one and cheated. And they're running out to the SUV or whatever. It's like, oh, tune in on Tuesday on Impact to figure out what's going on. It's like, well, didn't see that coming at all.
Alex Marvez, man, he's such a goober. I mean,
what? He's a rogue.
Dynamite is on Wednesdays. Yeah.
Well, the bigger thing is Marvez is in on it. Is my thought, because he conveniently is standing outside behind a semi-trailer next to the SUV that they're running to. Why would he be out there? Be like, biggest match, arguably biggest match in AEW history. You know where I should be? I should be outside by this semi-trailer.
Maybe that's where they send him. It might not be. Alex, let's go out there to the semi-truck and interview.
Hey, Marvez, can you go look for some of those snipes out by the trailer?
Yeah. I've never liked the guy. He's such a goober. I mean, I don't know.
But yeah, so
so please do not give him a storyline. No, do not mix him with this at all. Yeah.
I'm gonna tweet asking that question. Someone else may have asked that as well, but like, why was Alex Marvez in AEW's biggest match just standing by a semi-trailer? Because he clearly didn't run out there because he would have been out of breath.
Sure. He probably like, oh, finally, I get to do something.
He just like intercepts them.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% he's going to be in on it. There's no way. That's my personal thought on it. So does this make you interested in watching TNA at all, or are you going to at least pull up like this segment on TNA after it airs on YouTube or something?
Bingo.
Yep.
Second option.
Yeah. I have access to the TNA show.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be able to watch it live. Will I do that? I have no idea. But
yes,
I will definitely, one way or the other, I will be watching this segment.
Mm-hmm.
So Impact has clearly gained from this already.
Sure. Yeah.
And then, I don't know, like, we were kind of talking about this because they talked about, like, oh, WWE would never do something like with other companies, most likely, because there's not a lot for them to gain.
Yeah.
I mean, AEW really doesn't have a ton to gain from this, but you came up with the thought of the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they have access to more of TNA's women division, that might help everybody out. So,
yeah. Well, according to Medusa's Instagram page, I guess her and Vicky Guerrero are like helping with the women's division, which, my God, they need it. So,
yeah, I mean, they have a lot of pieces currently. Like, they've added some pieces that are very good, but it's lacking the cohesion.
Yep.
Like, they need a couple pieces to just bring everything together, and they'll be okay. Like, they're starting to get the talent, in spite of it, since they sign a lot of people.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. One last thing I want to say, like, so there was like that, kind of like the little interview thing that Tony Khan did in front of this, and they were asking him if he's had, too many people on the roster or something like that. And he was, and there was also one where they were like, are there things that have been harder or easier than you thought they would be? And one of the things he was kind of saying is like, well, some things have been hard, some have been easy. And it's like, some things I haven't had to deal with yet. And he was basically saying that they probably do have too many people right now on the roster, but he just feels it's not the right time to let people go. He is like, maybe if we were in a different situation, there's people that we would have let go, or, something would have happened. But he was like, I just can't do it right now. Like, he just said, it just doesn't feel right. He's like, unfortunately, I mean, that is something that's going to happen. And he's like, I've had to deal with that in other things, but in the wrestling, he hasn't had to do that yet. And he's like, I imagine it's going to be more difficult than I want it to be, but it's something you have to do at a certain point. So seems like he has a decent outlook on the roster, like trying to help everybody.
Yeah.
And I would assume they were planning to run super in the red for the first year or two. And the fact that they got like the good TV deal has given them a little more freedom to do some things.
Well, I think Sting just being there will help them with the ratings and everything. So.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they don't do something crazy where Sting is like, I don't know, like if he is cleared to wrestle, maybe like do a tag match or something. Because like they have him with like a win-loss record. So he's going to do something. But I mean, you could give him a couple like enhancement guys where he just crushes them, and maybe you get like a match against somebody safe.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what the plan is. If he can still move well enough, like there's people that you can have a match with Sting and not be like, I can't believe you're putting Sting over these guys. But it'll be like, if it builds up to Sting wants to have one last match that he's happy with, then that's fine. Like, whoever.
I assume if he has one last match, it's going to be with Cody, just because Sting was, he was so close to Dusty.
Right.
I assume that it would be Cody. It would be his last match.
Right. Which would be fine. And, I mean, Cody could win or lose that, and it doesn't matter. But, yeah, if they are doing it to give Sting, like, and then he sticks around, because it said he had, like, a multi-year deal. So, if he's just around as, like, a character, and he's not, like, jobbing dudes out left and right, then that's fine. I think. I mean, could be wrong, but like if he just has like an Arn Anderson role where he's not super featured, but he's there doing stuff, like, I mean, I'm not gonna have a complaint with it. So,
what do you think about? Because I didn't get your opinion on these guys. The John Cena ripoff guys. The Acclaim there. Yeah. What do we think of it?
I mean, technically, John Cena is like an R-Truth ripoff. Because R-Truth did the rapping long before John Cena.
This is true.
So, I do not think it is fair. Now, granted, they have to know that that's going to be a comparison. But from what I've heard, like the guy's actually pretty good at it.
So
what's that?
So I think the Young Bucks even made that up. He's like, didn't someone ever do this gimmick?
Right. I mean, he does it well. So that's the thing. Is like if he can do it well, as good as or better, then it's not going to be too problematic. I mean, I've seen some of their stuff on Dark, and they seem pretty good. Yeah. But it's hard to tell. Like,
sure.
I'm so confused by tag team wrestling being treated the way that it is.
Yes.
That I just really don't know what to expect. Because like in WWE, there's no way these guys are either going to win 2 matches and get the belt, or they're going to turn on each other after like 3 weeks.
Yes.
Or they're going to draw out a story where they turn on each other after 6 years, but it's teased every single week and you're just tired of it. Looking at Andrade for that one. But yeah, so I don't know, like it seems like they'll do okay.
Yeah.
I know they weren't initially a tag team, but they got paired up to be a tag team. So we'll see, because like some people are just not good at tag team wrestling.
Agreed.
And then other people are like Cesaro. I could tag team with Cesaro, and we'd probably look awesome. Like that dude is good at tag team wrestling. Whereas like Hogan, for example, I don't think Hogan's good at tag team wrestling because it's basically like Hogan gets the hot tag.
Yes.
All right. Well, great. So the gimmick is definitely not for me. Like, if I'm supposed to dislike them, mission accomplished.
Yes.
So, but hopefully they'll, like, I don't know. It's nice to have teams that you just don't like and you're supposed to not like them.
Sure.
So, did you catch anything? One of the best things in wrestling currently, Roman Reigns. Did you see the clip from last night's SmackDown with Owens and Jey Uso?
Yep.
Roman is a psychopath.
I like it.
I mean, the fact that I don't know whose idea it was. I mean, they've been doing it some, like, since they've had no audience, where, like, you hear more of what's going on inside the ring. But something about the way they've done it with Roman, like, it really does feel like he's talking to the person. And you just happen to be hearing it. Like, and, I mean, the dude's a psycho.
It's a shame that there's no audiences allowed, because I think Roman would be getting cheered as a villain.
Oh yeah,
because he's so good at it.
I mean, he's despicable.
Yeah,
like everything he's not really lied about anything, but he's just a despicable person at the moment. And like I saw one person commented there, like, I'm fairly uncomfortable at how good Roman is doing this.
Sure.
So either he's a legitimate psychopath or something in his life is the inspiration for this, and that's very sad.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's doing a good job with it. I don't think he's a bad person in real life. I think he's actually a nice guy in real life.
Right. I would assume so. But, I mean, something happened somewhere that he's drawing from that does lend, like, the creepiness to it. Or he saw a documentary or something. Like, there's something that's, like, fueling his portrayal of this that's very real.
Sure, could be.
Yeah, like that. Much like Impact, like Roman, I never thought I'd say Roman segments are things that I'd make it a point to watch one way or the other. And then be disappointed that Miz is still not the champion.
Sure.
So, all right. I think we can probably end it there. I guess we'll have some Impact to talk about next week, at least one segment.
Yep, that's true. So,
all right,
well,
everybody.
you guys, you want me to read a thing before we leave? Or
Oh,
you just
yeah. Since you got it there.
I need to give it to you, so because this is kind of your shtick.
It's our shtick.
All right. What is a snake's favorite subject? Oh, wait, you've already read it. Never mind.
Yeah, I was trying to mark them off.
What did one eye say to the other eye?
I see you.
I don't know what it is, but something between us smells.
I feel like there's a better way to word that one, but that one's close. That one's close to being good.
How do mountains hear?
I can't even begin to guess.
With mountain ears.
What?
Mountaineers, mountaineers.
Oh, I get like a person who goes into the mountains.
Yes.
You know how earlier we were talking about where Yoda just died because he was tired of answering Luke's questions?
Yes.
This book would, if I could turn into a Force ghost, that's what you'd just be like, Ross, where'd you go? And then I'd just be next to you, but I'd be all blue.
What happened to the dog that swallowed a firefly? And this will be the last one.
I don't. I feel like I'm gonna know it as soon as you say it because it's so cheesy.
It barked with delight.
I would never got to that. I was thinking it was like gonna be like a type of dog.
Yep.
Like, but I couldn't figure. I was like, wiener dog. I don't know how you get there. Clifford, big red dog.
Yeah.
But like, what happened to the dog that ate a habanero pepper? It turned into Clifford, the big red dog.
All right. Let's end this.
That was from Ross from Ohio.
Yeah.
All right. We will see everybody later.
See you later.